back to my YouTube channel, and of course I'm your girl, Miss Katiwa the Caribbean Queen. Not forgetting the show is Katiwa Extra Podcast, and I'm super excited to be back because we took a break, but now we are back, and I wanted it to be better. Nilikuwa nataka at least ikwe pia na vitu different, environment different, look different. And I'm warning nywele, I'm warning improvement. I'm telling you, I'm super excited. But at the same time, I want to appreciate each and every person who's been checking up on me and asking, why are we not doing Katiwa Mtaani? Not Katiwa Mtaani, it's Katiwa Extra, darling, okay? But welcome back. We had to take a break. And I'm super excited to bring you a beautiful guest. Ude Miani. Hey, Leo. Jitayarisheni because kizungu inaenda kukua hivi. It's going to be a lot of English, but at the same time, we're going to have fun and basically getting to know each other. But let me take this opportunity to thank Impala Club for hosting us. Look at the ambience. I mean, look at the ambience. Everything is just amazing. So I want to tell you something about Impala Club. It's just one of the best clubs that you can ever get to visit. We offer memberships. We offer gym memberships. We also have some good places that you can hang out. But you need to be a member, girl. You need to be a member, mister. So make sure you visit through. There's some offers that are going through, and you'll get to know more about Impala Club. But ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any time, without wasting any masa, let me introduce to you the beautiful, the one and only, the only queen of hip hop, the only queen of radio that I know of. I love you. You know her from Homeboyz Radio, Jump Off, but I know her as the queen of hip hop, period. No one like Corine Anyango in Africa. Welcome, my queen.
Hey, sweetheart. So good to see you again.
It's so good to see you.
I mean, I think I saw you briefly in passing just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
But it's good to like sit down with you.
I know.
After a long time, hey?
It has been a long time. I think the last time me and you had a conversation was
on the phone?
Yes,
Yeah.
was on the phone
Yeah,
when
yeah.
everything blew up.
Yeah.
But before we even go to that,
Okay.
welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Welcome
That's
to
exciting.
Katiwa.
Yeah, cool.
Katiwa Extra Podcast. Extra.
Extra.
We're gonna be extra. And you look amazing.
Thank you,
I love
sweetheart.
how you
As do
look.
you, but I can't tell you that like all the time.
You do. But one thing I know that you always tell me is about my makeup.
Yeah.
And you like my
Off
makeup.
fleek.
Thank you.
But now if you call attention to makeup, then people gonna be looking at mine. and
No,
stuff.
Corinne.
Okay,
No. We are so different in many ways.
Yeah.
And like I've always told you, I love you as, because of your uniqueness. You're
Oh,
just
cool.
you're very bold. You're very outstanding. And today, clearly I'm
woman
going to
on
have to
TV.
speak a lot of English.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Don't pretend like you-
Corinne, tunaongea Kiswahili bana. Tell me, like, do you even know any Kiswahili?
Listen, right? I know songs, but I only know songs the same way other people know songs, right? It's like, okay, so what he mean by saying that? Like I do my homework.
So,
Because I feel like I'm not the only one who's like, okay, what does that mean?
so all this time we've been speaking in Kiswahili, you didn't even...
No, you see, I can understand that because you're not roping me to like into the conversation
Yeah.
to like start spitting.
But would you tell if someone is, like
Talking shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time, that's the case.
What's the Swahili words that you know?
No, most of the time, that's the case, right?
Okay, yeah.
I'm not a very likable person.
No, Corinne, you're very likable personally to me because
'cause you
I
know
think
me.
it's because we've interacted more.
Yeah.
And that's when we used to work together back, at Homeboyz Radio.
Yeah.
But again, as we get to like have this conversation, there's a lot of people who don't know who's Corine Anyango.
I know.
Who's Corinne?
I wanted to do radio. I got the job, did it for 15 years, and I'm here. But I'm glad I did it.
I'm glad you did it because we used to know Corinne, through the radio.
Yeah.
But in front of the camera, we
Yeah.
rarely see you.
Yeah. To this day, people think I'm a white girl. They think I'm pretending. I swear to God.
All right, Corinne, apart from even me, myself, everyone would want to know, where did you grow up? Because again, your accent defines you more.
Yeah.
Clearly it shows you didn't grow up in Kenya.
No, but I'm Kenyan, 100%, right?
Jaluo.
Yeah.
Do you know any Jaluo?
No.
Even if I speak to you, nothing.
No, but I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it. That's why my kid right now is learning how to, like, he's learning.
Do you know, wait, did you even know that Corinne has a kid? Did you?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Everyone knows I got a kid.
One boy?
One boy. He's 8 years old, so he's not even a kid. He's a kid.
Wait, when are you bringing the second one, though?
So
Okay.
I have this one kid, and yeah, that works out great. But you sound like my kid because he's always asking me, like, where is the wet? So what up? Like, some days he'll be like, I'll put on clothes, and of course I'm like, putting on pounds. He's like, oh, you pregnant? I'm like, yo!
You're not pregnant. But Corinne, in real life, though,
Yeah.
where did you grow up?
I was born in Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
So you're basically from Ivory Coast.
No, it's on my passport, but I'm. I was raised there, so it's kind of home.
Okay.
But no, I don't know where.
So
it's home.
born in
Kenya.
Côte d'Ivoire,
Yeah.
lived
And
in.
then we moved around. So it's not because I was somehow. This is all because of my family, what my dad did.
Okay,
for
work
Yeah,
related?
Yeah. So yeah, he used to pick us up, and we would move a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the last thing I checked, even if you were born in Côte d'Ivoire, they don't have such an accent.
Really?
Excuse me. Do you know Kenyans we do have, and this is no
Yeah.
disrespect, Kenyans
Yeah,
we do
yeah.
have,
I don't take it
you know,
personal. That's
we do have, quite an accent.
Yeah.
We are good in English.
I don't know where. No, I do know. So it's just being in like international school system, which is literally just American system.
Okay, so where
Right.
did you study?
No, I mean like when I'm growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
In Kenya,
so,
or like
so
that was
no,
in UK
that was
or
when I
what?
started at Homeboyz Radio 15
Okay.
years ago. Is when I moved to Kenya for the first time.
Okay, so previously you were outside.
Yeah. So from Côte d'Ivoire we moved to Zimbabwe. From Zimbabwe we moved back to Côte d'Ivoire. Then from there we all went. No, I
UK?
went to London.
Okay.
Well, just outside of London, I was in Tassis. Big shout out, Tassis. That's the school just outside of London in Surrey.
Uh-huh. The States?
And then the States for uni. And then I fell into a job.
All right, so where
In between there, my family was moving around, so I used to have to kind of, they
Move
moved
around.
with, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Corinne. So moved back to Kenya.
Yeah, just coincidence that everyone was in like different parts of and then they all just came back.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings.
I
So
know one of
2
your
older
sisters.
sisters and 1 younger brother.
One of them is a stylist.
Mhm.
Then the other one?
Stylist.
A stylist.
Stylist.
Oh, and she's a proper stylist.
Oh
I
my gosh.
mean,
Yeah.
I just recognize her from her hair.
Yeah.
Dyed, white.
Yeah.
All right, so you came back to Kenya and you decided you want to be a radio presenter?
I
From
had
where?
studied radio.
Oh, you had
I went to
studied radio.
uni to study radio, television, film. I thought
Okay.
I was going to get to do film.
Okay.
But then I kind of lost psych along the way. But also along the way, I picked up doing radio, like for school radio. So that also broadcast to like the Chicago area.
Right.
And yeah, I loved it.
You loved it.
Yeah.
So you only decided to be a female hip hop presenter.
Really, I wanted to just be a presenter. Music, definitely, but just a presenter. But then it was DJ John's idea. He was like, try some hip hop.
Okay.
And then because I grew up on hip hop, I was like, yeah, let me do it.
You grew up in
Yeah.
hip hop.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Yeah.
the accent though.
Yeah.
Hey,
Damn.
Corinne.
She's not gonna let this one go.
So nataka uniambie.
Yeah,
Sijui kama
yeah.
unasikia kenye nakwambia. Unanisikia sahi? Like do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
But don't test me. What is this?
Corinne, nataka
Yeah.
uniambie sheng ngapi unajua? Do you know
No,
sheng?
I don't. Do you?
Yeah,
Sheng
I grew up
changes
in
like once a
Kibera.
week. Yeah, but
Yes.
it changes every week.
But every hood has its own sheng.
Okay.
Every hood has its own sheng.
Okay.
And I've seen you doing a couple of interviews with
Yeah.
different artists from,
Yeah.
different places.
Yeah.
I've seen you with ule msee wetu Alain Sabane tuaje virusi mbaya. And he's one
And I
of the,
still have to ask. He knows that I don't get it. So I still ask him and he's okay with that.
And how do you get to interact with them, especially because I'm not saying that majority of them don't understand, the language, but it takes.
They do understand, but they're just not comfortable. Like it's weird. Even for them to know that someone else might be watching or whatever, just to be, because you kind of change who you are now to like school you. No, this is English speaking me, which is like.
And how is it like relating, to them? And do you think it's difficult for you, especially in your work environment, when you're doing
No.
the interviews?
No. because I'm not afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
And I think that's why I think people kind of resonated with me, because I wasn't like, I don't care if I don't get it.
Okay.
You dig? So,
Yeah.
and I think that a lot of people also don't get it.
Okay.
Even if you are a fluent Swahili speaker,
Yeah.
you might not get it. So you better just ask.
So tukitoka hapa nikikupeleka ukamanche ziko tu sawa.
Sure.
How did you start working at
So I have a cousin, you must know her. Her name is Nina Ogut. Yes, she's a musician.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, your family is quite, established.
I mean, I want to say we're hustlers, but I don't know. I think
No. Don't misuse that name. Hustlers, please. No. Okay,
Right?
continue, girl.
Yeah, so she's a musician. So she used to work with Dilly,
Yeah.
producer
The
Dilly.
producer, yeah.
At that point, he used to work hand in hand with entertainment.
Yeah.
That was Alf who was kind of running that part, the department.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then she was like, listen, I hear there's a radio station or something. You should just come by. Because she knew my degree, right?
Yeah.
And she knew that I was kind of waiting to go back to do my master's.
Right.
So she's like, why don't you just come down to the studio and see what's happening? So I'm like, yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met with John and Dilly and all them, and I was like, yeah, we could do
Jonte.
this.
John.
And I really, like, from then, believed,
my
like,
God.
the dream.
And that's how you started.
Yeah.
16 years
I was
later.
the first
15.
employee. It should be said.
No,
that I was the
no.
first employee.
Wait, we need to
Me
cheers
and
to that.
Duncan. Actually, I found Duncan there, so maybe Duncan was right.
wait.
But I was the first presenter.
First presenter
Yes,
for
sir.
Homeboyz Radio.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. We need to drink to that.
Yeah. Cheers.
So John gave you the job.
John was like, I'm not exactly sure what we're doing right now, so you stick around, and then we'll do this internship until top of the year, and then it should be all systems go, and it was.
And you started.
Yeah.
15 years later.
Yeah.
And
I'm
boom,
out of work.
Boom, 15 years later.
15 years is not a joke.
It's not a joke, trust me, because I personally, if you ask me for how many years I've been on the radio.
How long?
I think 4 years.
And that started with.
Yes.
Before that, you had no
I
radio
was-
experience.
Nothing. I didn't even think I would. I didn't even think I would become. Yeah, I swear. No. I
Okay,
had no
so
dream.
if it was 4 years for radio, then how many years was it for TV?
4, same.
Really?
Yeah, I started at the same time.
Okay.
The only difference is 1 year between the radio and TV because I started on radio first.
Yeah.
Then later on,
Yeah.
I joined
Yeah,
TV.
Yeah.
So TV, I would say 3 years,
Okay.
but radio is 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's something. TV, I visioned myself that I would be there one day, but not something to do with reggae music, or me being, one of.
What did you think you were gonna do?
Well, maybe a news anchor. I always wanted to be a news anchor.
Really?
Well, I wanted to be a pilot, but I knew there was something about TV.
Yeah.
And so if it was TV, I knew probably news anchor. Nothing more, nothing less. But after I met Chris Darling,
Yeah. So he's the
Reggae
one who
music.
roped you in.
yes, he's the
Okay.
one who brought me in. And at that time, I'd actually given up. I was going to Australia.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I've been on radio. It's not paying me because I stayed for like a whole year without payment. So I was like, if it's not paying me, girl, please, And Chris
You
was
did
like,
1 year on air.
yes, on air without
By
payment.
yourself.
By my no,
I
I
mean, you
was
had a
with
DJ.
Chris.
Right,
I was
so Chris
with
the
Chris.
DJ.
Yeah,
Right.
the DJ.
But he was okay, to the listener, it sounds like you are the host and he is the co-host, even though people know Chris Darling, in a
it's
major
because
way.
most of the time he used to, to travel.
Yeah.
Chris was always traveling.
Yeah.
Chris was always traveling
Big
and
shout
I
out to
think,
Chris, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's why people, recognize me more, since I will find myself probably on the radio alone or Kaskala. You remember Kaskala?
No.
MC Jawochi.
No.
Okay, you can't remember him,
No,
but
I'm
he
sorry.
was one of the dopest MCs ever. But now, Corinne, 15
No,
years
don't-
later,
No, I'm still listening to your story.
I
I'm sorry.
was in Germany.
So you gave up Australia
I gave
to
up
stay and
Australia
do
to
radio
stay. Yes.
with Chris Darling.
No, actually, this was the thing. So before me deciding that I want to go to Australia, first of all, I felt like radio wasn't paying me enough.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't
Absolutely.
paying me. So it was
Absolutely.
nothing. And for me, I felt like I've stayed here for 1 year and it's not giving me anything. I thought maybe 6 months, at least 8 months, that would be enough for me
Sure,
to
to
showcase
prove
what I
yourself.
can do.
Yeah.
And I called Chris and I remember telling him, I think I have something to tell you, but I don't think it's something that we need to discuss on the phone.
Okay.
So if you can set a date aside so that we can meet akaniambia, on Friday, since we're doing the show on Friday, why can't we talk about it? And I was like, oh, okay. So I get to the studio, Galana. We were still in Galana. And he's like, okay, so we do the show first. And I'm like, no, Chris, I need to talk to you. And he's like, Katiwa, you need to keep quiet. You need to listen to me first. I also have things to tell you.
Okay.
And I'm like, Chris, no, Chris, you just need to listen to me for a moment. And there's a name that Chris gave me because I'm always persisting. He's like, Katiwa, ubaya yako, unaongea sana kama bibi ya chief. Like you're always talking. You don't want to listen.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Chris, I think you just need to listen to me. This thing, I've been keeping it for a long time. And
you're like, I'll be quiet later, but first listen to me.
And I didn't know God was just trying to pinch me and tell me like, yo, hold it, hold it. So Chris is like, you'll just have to listen to what I'm telling you first of all, and you'll tell me what you're supposed to tell me later.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So Chris tells me, so today, today is on Friday, so I would love for you to start, coming on TV every Saturday. Are you comfortable with that?
So Chris roped you into both radio and TV?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So that day is like, so can you start tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, you're kidding? Yeah, I'm not kidding. And I've brought a lot of females over here.
Yeah.
So I hope you're not going to fail me.
Yeah.
And I was like, why not? I like a challenge.
Yeah.
And so he was like...
At this point, though, 1 year into radio, surely you know what you're capable of.
Yes, and I used to observe a lot of what he used to do on TV. So basically, I used to learn a lot from him.
Sure.
It's only that maybe he didn't know.
Yeah.
So I would watch each and every Saturday his show on TV. Sure. That was on NTV.
Yeah.
I would watch every single Saturday. But I didn't know one day he would call me and tell me, yo, can we do this?
Yeah. Cool.
So I told him, why not?
Okay.
And he told me, don't fail me like the rest. Because I've brought a lot of females and I feel like they've failed me so much. Okay, so go ahead. What did you want to tell me? And I was like, never mind. Never mind. So, and deep down, I didn't know the people from Australia were trying to reach out to me.
Yeah.
And the next day, I got a message, an email actually, telling me, we've actually decided that it's best if you work from where you are. And remember, my visa was ready. My ticket was ready.
What do you mean,
Everything
work from
was
where
ready.
I am? Have you told them I've been
So
here?
I was supposed to move to Australia to relocate.
Nice.
And I was like, the visa is ready. Everything was
so you're like,
ready.
no, it's okay over there.
No, I told them actually I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually okay because I never thought I would, even be on TV.
Okay, the only difference, it's not like Australia is some wonder, it's not like heaven.
No.
The only difference really is like the pay difference really. How they treat you at work.
Exactly.
So why not give it a shot after 1 year of already like struggling?
I decided, let me just try it back home. And that's how I started.
Yeah.
I started as a tweet girl. But anyway, the conversation is not about me. So Corinne, I was in Germany.
It is about you.
And 1 week before me coming back.
Yeah. First of all, let me just, shit had already hit the fan. It was coming slowly. Actually, this had been happening for a long time.
Wait.
I don't know why this didn't seem like it was
Did you
coming.
know it was coming?
No,
I
but
personally
everyone,
felt it.
every 3 years they re-sign contracts, right? So everyone's like, oh, contracts are coming, contracts. So I'm like, whatever.
But one thing, Corinne, is as much as I knew there was some, smell that was...
There was a stank.
It was just a stink that was in the office, but I didn't know that it would, just fall on us.
Katiwa, you, of all the people in evening show, because we were there evenings, right? Who was tuned in more than Ntani? Who? Like who?
No one.
This was completely malicious because we did our job, right? We brought in the numbers.
I totally feel like we gave it our all.
Yeah.
That's one thing. We gave it our all.
Okay, I want you to finish that thought and then we have to go back to the fact of like what we actually do. Because for everyone else, we just talk, right? But what else you do is a different game.
One thing that shocked me, first of all, is to realize that Corinne is trending on Twitter and everyone else is calling me and telling me what exactly is happening at radio. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? Because I'm kind of busy and I don't know what exactly is happening. And so I look on Twitter
Sorry you had to
And
hear
I
that in
see
Germany.
your
Was
tweet.
Germany nice?
Germany was nice.
Okay, cool.
As much as it was hectic, it was nice.
Okay, cool.
But I was really frustrated when I looked into Twitter and I saw your tweet.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think you should have not been the first person to, to leave Homeboyz, because I think you're the most, you were the
I
first
wasn't.
person.
This happened in a wave, and everyone else was quiet about it.
Wait, I need to understand this. Did you know it was coming, first of all?
No. Literally, I was blindsided.
So when did you realize that?
They called me into the office.
So they called you?
Yeah.
A day before you tweeted?
The same day, I think I tweeted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you get into
Yeah,
the
so
office?
now HR is like, we want to have a meeting with you tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, you know what, whatever. Of course, it's always in the morning, even though I work at night. So I'm like, okay, you know what, whatever. So yeah, I go, right? You know some bullshit happens. So I don't know if I should name names, but whatever. These 3 niggas were around the table. And by niggas, I mean 2 niggas and then 1 dude were around the table.
Okay, no offense.
And then, yeah, I mean, it's not even like a...
And they sit you down.
Yeah.
And they tell you what?
Just as after being like, hey, how you doing? How's the kid? Blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, okay, so read this contract. I'm like, no, they said read this. And they shove a letter towards me. I'm like,
okay.
But then I just read the room. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what's this? Because I don't want to read it. When you're here, like if you're here,
there's a
why
way
am
you
I
can
reading
sense
this?
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you want me to read?
So you took the paper, you read it.
I didn't read it.
You asked them questions.
I said, what is this?
Okay. They told you what?
I don't know. Actually, from then on, I don't know. All I know, it wasn't what I wanted to hear.
And
honestly, from then on, no. And then one of them was like, oh, now we don't have the money. As soon as I heard about money, because here I have, hold on, 15 years, and I haven't had a raise since 2008.
Right.
No raise. So at least maybe if it was like, oh, here's the thing, we have money for you. But of course it will never happen.
It will never.
No. So we don't have the money for, and then I was pissed. I literally don't remember what happened.
Wow. So you decided to walk out.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah.
You went back home. You took
no raise in 15 years. I've still been loyal to you.
I know. It's been 15 years and you're the most long-serving presenter at Homeboyz Radio. Yeah. I was shocked at first because I didn't expect it, first of all. Well, at least they told you at that moment, because I knew we all received emails.
Or at least if they had concocted some story, because, I'm a fuck girl, so sometimes I slip up, sure. If they had concocted some story, I might have believed that one more, but money? Nah.
Well, I think we were told the same thing.
Yeah?
I was told the same thing because I knew the contracts were ending around, literally the same time. We signed the contract at the same time because before we shifted, we all signed contracts.
Yeah.
And I knew personally, I knew we were going to renew the contracts because I knew your show was one of the best shows. Corinne, we cannot even talk about...
You and me literally took care of 12 hours of that goddamn station every day.
I know. And Mtani was also one of the best shows.
Yeah.
And big shout out to, DJ Demakufu, Jemolem Say.
Of course,
and also
yeah,
Dij.
Of course,
and I knew you guys, it was a vibe every time I would get to the studio because I was excited to see you and
yeah, it was always good
a couple of people.
It was almost as if we had too much time, we were having too much fun that we weren't being serious.
We used to be a family when we were at Galana.
Yeah.
Remember?
But they don't understand that. When we had a lounge, and this is what really, I think the moral of the story is if you are going to, because obviously I can't go back to employment.
No.
But if you are going to start your own company, you have to treat people like they are people, right?
And you also need to prepare people mentally, physically, and emotionally, because I felt like probably your situation would have been served in a different way. I think your situation would have been, handled in a very different way because, Corinne,
remember how we got a disclaimer? This is after we signed contracts. Anyway, we got a disclaimer about, and if you wish to move, you're going to have to give us 1 year of your life. You can't talk to anyone. You can't work anywhere. You can't, remember all that?
I remember all that.
So I assumed that it was going to be reciprocated with this company.
Yeah.
But for them, they're happy to be like, okay, we wash our hands clean.
But now that's the difference of, being in an individual company and moving to now
we were not allowed to have friends in other companies. We were not allowed to have radio presenter friends.
Which was kind of weird.
Fucked up. Because they thought that we were in cahoots. Or someone's trying to poach someone or someone doesn't. What?
Yeah. It was kind of, for me, it was a different environment. it was, I wouldn't say it was toxic for me, because I think,
In hindsight, it was toxic.
yeah, I used to hear a lot of that. And I thank God my show was at night, because
Yeah, we had less of that
less
BS
of that,
to deal with.
yeah, compared to like daytime.
Yeah.
Daytime is too much hectic.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm always, still grateful for that platform, as much as I didn't.
Of course, yeah.
I didn't take long. So Corinne, you trended on Twitter. And I remember when I was still, back in Germany, I was like, should I even call Corinne?
Yeah, you should have. I would have answered.
I know, but I felt like that time you had a lot of, traction, and a lot of people are calling you from right, left, and center. And I felt like, I think I need to give you maybe some time to cool down, because everything was just haywire.
Yeah.
And
Actually, now you're making me angry about it again.
no,
I was
it's okay
angry.
To feel
I was
angry.
now.
It's okay
you know
to
what?
feel angry,
No.
but at the same
I
time,
feel like I've also kind of just been like, you know what? It's okay.
it's okay, Corinne, because at the end of the day, I think for me it was a big lesson, and I think people should learn this. You and your employers, you're not friends.
Yeah.
We are not friends at all.
Right?
You and your HR,
Yeah.
we are not friends.
Oh no, never friends with HR.
tell
Never
you,
friends
I
with
used
these
to
new
laugh with
bosses.
them.
You know what? The only people who I thought I owed allegiance to was the initial Homeboyz Radio. Those people who actually brought us into the fold. I felt like if we're growing this company together, and we did, I might have been on a different level. I was below you a lot, but we did this shit together. So I took it was a personal thing. How are you not answering my phone calls now when I need you the most?
Right.
Or to at least like give me an explanation.
Right.
Yeah. No, you know what? On a personal level, like I mean those people are great. But on
They
a
are
like
great.
on a boss level as an employee, nah. Jump off a cliff. You joking?
You jump off the cliff, you do. And if you didn't get it, please let me just remind you that you're watching Katiwa Extra podcast.
Hey.
And I'm super excited because Corinne is in the building and we're just having such a good conversation. And basically, for those who don't or didn't get to know Corinne on a different level, this is the opportunity and this is the chance to do so. But at the same
Thanks,
time,
honey.
Corinne, I would love to know, how are you mentally, physically, and emotionally, before I even speak about my side, because I think we are both on the same page in terms of like we both left. It's not leaving. We didn't leave. A lot of people do think that Tulitoka
You quit
Homeboyz,
or you got
we
fired.
quit or we got fired, because
Yeah.
bro, we didn't have the pleasure
Yeah.
or the audacity to just leave. We didn't. We just woke up one day. Let me give you my scenario. I came from Germany, and before coming back, I got an email, and I was CC'd, and it was saying, kindly come pick your contracts before this specific time. So I was like,
Sure.
oh well, seems like God
Yeah.
was on my side this time. And I'm like, okay, I'm back now. I guess it's time for me to go and pick my contract. And I think I'd even called you, and we had spoken.
Yeah.
And I think you asked me, are you okay? How are things going? Are you still back at Homeboyz Radio?
Yeah.
And I told you, I'm really not sure, but I think I got an email that said this and this and this. So I got a call. I think it was either a call or an email. And they told me, please come to the office. We would love to have a conversation with you. And I was like, whew, finally, we are going to talk about, the price, because, we also need to talk about the money. I get to the office.
Yeah.
And
You need to talk about the money.
Yeah, we need to talk about the money because it's
Okay.
also important.
Hold
I
up. When you were in
believe-
Germany, were you doing anything in Homeboyz Radio capacity?
Well, not really, but in terms of like keeping in terms of what is happening, and how the show was going, and I was also like during the show I would call, or we would like have conversations. I
Yeah.
would come in through calls and all that, blah blah
Then
blah.
you
So
were.
there was a consistency.
So even on your own time,
Yeah.
you were still working
Exactly.
for that goddamn
Yeah,
station.
yeah.
Okay.
So I get to Nairobi. I decide, let me go to the to the office and see what they have. Probably it's a contract, or probably having a discussion about the funds or the money.
Sure.
And I get to the office, but I kind of noticed the mood was everywhere, and I felt like,
It's so shady. You have to. It's so shady.
and I was like, I don't think today is the day.
Yeah.
So I look at everyone. I went to the, office to see if my boss was there. She wasn't at all. Big shout out to her. And I was like, okay, the HR wants to see you. And the HR said, just give me a moment. And I was like, okay, let me just wait over here. So as I was waiting, I see, one of the PCs.
Okay. It's okay.
We can name the names.
Sure.
So he comes in.
You can. It might be defamation, but I think at this point, it's not defamation because you
It's
don't
not
owe them shit. They don't owe you shit, right? Okay, It's all right.
So I see him and I'm like, what? I think I'm just used to having a conversation with the HR alone.
Yeah.
But after seeing him, I felt like, something might be fishy.
Can we talk about this PC? Can we talk about him?
No, I don't think there's anything to talk about him at all.
Yeah, okay.
There's
okay.
nothing at all.
Yeah.
Trust me. If there was, I would talk about
That's
it.
what I'm saying. But you know
Yes.
what? Let's let
It's
that go
okay.
because there's too many stories wrapped up in stories and stories.
So I get into the office and both of them are looking at me in a way, should you start? Should I start? And
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you both asking
Yeah.
yourself if there's anyone who should start?
Yeah.
I think you should both feel comfortable having this conversation in front of me. And so that's the moment I realized, boom, shit is about to hit the floor.
fan, yeah.
And so they look at me and they tell me, the company is struggling right now. And, we are not in a position to, I haven't even said what amount of money I want. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the decision.
Yeah.
I won't even, negotiate anything or say anything about it. And everyone looked at me and be like, you're not saying anything? So what is there to
What
say
did they
about?
expect your reaction to be?
Yeah. So I was like, I don't think there's anything that I have to say or there's anything to add on top of whatever you guys have decided. At the end of the day, your decision is your decision. But for me, I would just say thank you for the opportunity. It's been such an amazing time working for, this company. But at the same time, I
You
felt
said all
like,
that?
Yeah, I
You
said
had
all
the
that.
clarity of mind at that moment.
Yes, yes. So, at first, before even concluding on that,
Yeah.
I was like, a day before, I texted Demakufu and I told him, I don't know if you've received an email or, you've been told to come to the office, because I personally just received an email. And he was like, yeah, I received an email and I think I'll be coming to the office. So we agreed to come at the same time. Mm-hmm. But later on, he texted me and he told me, I've been told to come this specific time. And I felt like,
Yeah, my girl. Yeah, we got burned. Especially because they wanted to do that, right?
separately.
Yeah.
So when I was in the office having the conversation with them, I told them, so does this apply only on me
Yeah.
or it applies to Demakufu? Because I remember it was just only
You
me
were
and
a team.
Demakufu. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were a team. And for me personally, I love involving everyone, especially if I know you're in my team, you must know everything that is
Let's
going
preface
on.
this. Hold on. All DJs at one point were fired from Homeboyz Radio,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Save Demakufu because Mtani was popping off, right?
Right.
So who should have been more worried at that point? You or Demakufu? Because if they're firing all DJs, it seems... Do you know what I'm saying? Why you?
I don't know.
I'm not trying to throw Demakufu under the bus.
No.
Demakufu, I
And
love
we're
you, I
not
love you.
even trying to do that. We're just trying to, I'm also trying, because I took my time to just look at it in a different way. I didn't want to overreact in any way because I felt like, the Corinne drama was enough. So we did. And it wasn't even drama. I understand it was, out of frustrations. But at the same time, I was like, okay, that's the decision. Well and good. So I called Demakufu immediately, walked out of the office.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was told, we'll give you a certificate, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, it's okay.
Oh, HR told me, do you have any nice words you want to say about the company? I'm like...
And we're not trying to be shady,
What?
though.
Oh,
We're
hell
not
no.
trying
They
to.
know exactly right. Actually, I don't hold shit back. I ain't got shit to say about that nice things. Are you joking? We don't even have a cup of tea.
Bomba
Nah.
clad! Bomba clad!
Nah, that's disrespect.
Mtani tunasemanga, kambaya mbaya. Say it.
Kambaya mbaya.
Thank you. So, we get out and I called Demakufu and I'm like, Demakufu, I think you're gonna be holding the show alone. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I think so. Akaniambia, just wait on me, I'm coming. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I thought we were supposed to be like
Yeah, together.
together.
Yeah.
What happened? And he told me like they told me to come this specific time. And I had to understand his side, because at the same time it's okay to, it's good to respect your bosses. So I wait for Demakufu, but before waiting that, Kerry, Lawton, and Kelly,
Yeah.
I went
Ignition
to them.
team.
Yeah, Ignition team. And they're like, have you renewed your contract? Blah, blah, blah. Be
Right.
excited, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, dudes, I'm
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Because they saw the drama, like the drama from before. You
And
know?
it's so sad that it had to happen in that way.
Yeah.
Of which, for me, I wish it would have happened in
Yeah.
a different way. I wish it would have happened in a different way.
Yeah.
But again, Corinne, let's not even dwell on that. It happened and it happened,
Sure.
and we move forward. So I told Demakufu, and Demakufu was extremely broken. But at the same time, I told him, you have to hold the show at the end of the day.
Sure.
Anyway, moving forward, Corinne, let me just ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you were not to be on radio, what else would you be?
I don't know. I
doing?
went to work for that. I went to school for that. And then I did it for 15. What else am I supposed to do? I don't think you're a doctor. You're like, one day I want to be a scuba diver. Like, nah.
Scuba
Who thinks about that? Nah, that was what I was supposed to do.
So what kind of energy?
I still think that's what I'm supposed to
What
do.
kind of energy do you receive outside when you meet your fans?
They're like, where you been? Maybe they thought I'd die. I don't know. No, I get a lot of love. Let me not even lie. I get a lot of love, but love only warms the heart, right? It doesn't pay the bills,
How
And I
is it?
do love that they recognize that shit went down. Like,
Yeah, it
just-
really went down.
down.
It was
badly.
really ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly.
How are you though? Because I previously asked, and
Yeah.
I don't think I got an answer from you.
Oh.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, how are you?
I'm okay. Actually, you know what? I think that I needed this break.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was a weird, it was a blessing in disguise and all that corny thing that people say. But I think it was actually a blessing in disguise because
Right.
this is, in fact, with someone else who had previously walked away from the job as well. And then when we're talking about it together, was saying that we had Stockholm syndrome. When you are a hostage in a situation, then you start to feel sorry
Right.
for the person who took you hostage.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, let's give him water, let's give him food. Nah, because even though do you know that we were not being paid full price, our full salary for what, 2 years prior to this whole, why are you turning around like you don't know? What we need to do is somehow there needs to be a union because this is actually insane that this can happen to you at a drop of a hat, just like that.
Right. I knew
Why don't we have a union?
I knew it will be chaos. I think now, Corinne, kitu tutakuintroduce to is chama, wachana na union. Union is for the rich.
Okay, we can call it chama, but someone has to chair it.
Right, you can do it.
That
I
someone
can
with
do it.
influence.
You have influence, Corinne. Do you know that?
I mean, so long as all these people sign my contract, hell yeah. Hell yeah. But
Corinne.
no one wants to.
Who's
Everyone's
one?
scared, and that's why right now it's interns who they're
Right.
paying zip to do our show. Interns.
And it's so sad because, again, I will always say this. Corinne, you're such a queen in what you do.
Thanks, honey.
There's no one who can do your shit.
I think people just call it a bitch, but let's go with queen. Let's go with that. That's fine.
No one can do your shit. When I was starting media, there's this narrative that used to go around yenye ilikuwa inasema, just remember in this media, you're replaceable.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
replaceable.
It's true.
But one thing I came to understand, your vibe is irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable, sweetheart.
Your persona
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
irreplaceable.
No one can do what you do.
No one
Katua.
can do it.
No one can do it.
Corinne, whatever you
They might be
used to
good,
bring,
but it's gonna be different.
yes, it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
And trust me, jump off can never be jump off without
Oh,
Corinne.
thanks, honey. Same with
I'm
Ntani.
just saying it, and I'm not saying it to make anyone feel bad.
Yeah.
But this is just to give you your flowers because trust
Oh,
me,
thanks, babe.
you get to know that or maybe understand that better once you're outside that space or once you're gone.
Yeah.
It's like those times we used to be told, you're in a relationship, but once you've lost the person,
Yeah.
that's when you get to realize,
How much they were worth.
thank you.
Yeah.
Talking of relationships,
What? Hold up.
how many times
Hold
a
on.
week do you you know, indulge